The man she can't stop thinking about isn't the best looking guy in the room. He's not the richest. He's not even the funniest. He's the one who understands something about female psychology that 95% of men will never figure out. And it has nothing to do with pickup lines, expensive gifts, or being an alpha male. Right now, there's a man somewhere making a woman feel something she's never felt before. Not lust, not comfort, not even love in the traditional sense. He's making her feel psychologically seen in a way that bypasses every defense mechanism she's built up over years of disappointing relationships. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some men effortlessly attract high quality women while others struggle despite having everything going for them. You'll learn why the advice you've been given about dating and relationships has been setting you up for failure. And you'll discover the one trait that makes a man genuinely unforgettable to a woman. But I'm warning you, once you see this, you can't unsee it. And you'll realize how much time you've wasted trying to be attractive instead of being attractive. The validation trap, section 1, the validation trap. Why everything you've been taught is backwards. Let me start by destroying the biggest lie about attraction that's been ruining men's dating lives for decades. Women are not attracted to men who validate them. I know. Every dating guru, every romantic comedy, every piece of relationship advice tells you the opposite. Make her feel special. Tell her she's beautiful. Show her how much you care. Validate her feelings. Here's the brutal truth. Validation is the fastest way to become invisible to a woman. But before you start thinking I'm advocating for being cruel or dismissive, let me explain what's actually happening psychologically when you shower a woman with validation. Dr. Robert Cialdini's research on influence reveals something counterintuitive about human psychology. We value most what we have to work for. When something comes easily, our brains literally assign it less worth. This isn't conscious. It's hardwired into our psychological reward systems. When you immediately validate a woman, when you agree with everything she says, compliment her appearance constantly, or make it obvious that you're trying to win her approval, you're triggering what psychologists call cognitive ease. Her brain processes your attention as a low value because it required no effort on her part to obtain. But here's where it gets really interesting. The men who are naturally attractive to women, the ones women describe as different or intriguing, they understand something about female psychology that goes deeper than basic validation theory. They understand that women don't want to be validated for who they are. They want to be challenged to become who they could be. Let me give you a concrete example. Two men meet the same woman at a coffee shop. She mentions she's a graphic designer. Man A, the validator, says, "Wow, that's amazing. You must be so creative. I bet you're really talented. That's such a cool job." Man B, the psychological tension versus psychological comfort challenger, says, "Graphic design, huh? So you're one of those people who thinks choosing between 12 shades of blue is a creative decision." Smiles slightly. What kind of design actually challenges you? Man A just told her she's already great. Man B suggested she might not be living up to her potential and gave her a chance to prove him wrong. Guess which one she's still thinking about 3 hours later? This isn't about being mean or dismissive. It's about understanding that attraction is generated by psychological tension, not psychological comfort. The Stoic philosophers understood this principle in a different context. Seneca wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." Applied to attraction, this means that for something new and exciting, to begin between two people, something else has to end. Specifically, the woman's certainty about who she is and what she wants. The men women can't forget are the ones who gently disrupt their self-concept in a way that creates growth, not the ones who confirm what they already know about themselves. Most men are so afraid of psychological echo chambers rejection, so desperate to be liked that they become psychological echo chambers, reflecting back to women exactly what they think women want to hear. But echo chambers don't create attraction, they create boredom. The man who understands this secret doesn't validate women, he elevates them. He sees potential they don't see in themselves and refuses to accept the limited version of themselves they've settled for. And that, gentlemen, is the beginning of genuine attraction. Real quick, before we go deeper, I've got something powerful for you. It's a free ebook called The Attraction Handbook. Inside, you'll learn how to make her crave you using just a few psychological moves. It's free for now, so grab it in the description or the pinned comment below. The Psychological Gap Section 2, The Psychological Gap. Why women choose men who remain mysterious. Sarah is a successful attorney, intelligent, accomplished, used to being in control. She's dated lawyers, doctors, entrepreneurs, men who on paper were perfect matches, but she's never felt that electric pull, that constant mental preoccupation with someone. Then she meets Jake. Jake is a carpenter, builds custom furniture, lives in a converted warehouse, reads philosophy books during his lunch breaks, and has strong opinions about things she's never thought about. When she talks about her high stress cases, he doesn't offer solutions or sympathy. He asks her why. She chose a career that seems to contradict her values. Within 3 weeks, psychological depth, this highly rational woman, is rearranging her schedule to spend time with a man who challenges everything she thought she wanted in a partner. What did Jake understand that her previous boyfriends didn't? The psychological gap. Here's what modern psychology reveals about female attraction that will change how you interact with women forever. Women are most attracted to men they can't completely figure out. Dr. Helen Fisher's neurological research on love and attraction shows that uncertainty activates the brain's reward system more powerfully than certainty. When we can't predict someone's behavior or fully understand their motivations, our brains become obsessed with solving the puzzle. But here's the crucial part. It's not about being unpredictable in a chaotic or unreliable way. It's about maintaining what I call psychological depth, having layers of personality, interests, and thought processes that can't be immediately categorized or understood. Most men, in their eagerness to connect with women, reveal everything about themselves too quickly. They share their entire life story on the first date. They explain their motivations, justify their decisions, and make themselves completely psychologically transparent. They think this creates intimacy. Actually, it creates boredom. The men who attract women effortlessly understand that mystery is not about withholding information. It's about having a rich enough inner life that there's always more to discover. Carl Jung wrote about this concept in his work on the anima and animus. He observed that we're most attracted to people who embody qualities we haven't fully developed in ourselves. Practical application. For many women, especially highly successful or controlling women, they're drawn to men who possess a kind of psychological freedom they haven't given themselves permission to experience. Jake the carpenter wasn't mysterious because he was secretive. He was mysterious because he had genuine depth. He read philosophy not to impress anyone, but because ideas fascinated him. He chose his profession not for status, but because he loved creating things with his hands. He had developed aspects of himself that weren't designed to attract women. They attracted women as a side effect. Here's the practical application. Stop trying to be understood and start trying to be interesting. When a woman asks you about your job, don't just describe your duties. Talk about what fascinates you about the work or what you're learning that's changing how you see the world. When she shares a problem, don't immediately offer solutions. Ask her questions that help her think about the situation differently. The psychological gap isn't about being distant or aloof. It's about being present but not completely accessible. It's about engaging with her mind in ways that create curiosity rather than certainty. The sovereignty principle. Think about the people in your life who fascinate you. They're not the ones you completely understand. They're the ones who surprise you, who have unexpected depths, who make you curious about what they're thinking. Women want to feel that same curiosity about you. And the beautiful irony is this: the less you try to be understood, the more deeply women want to understand you. Section 3, the sovereignty principle. Why independence is the ultimate aphrodisiac. There's a moment in every woman's romantic history that she remembers with startling clarity. Not the moment she fell in love, the moment she realized she wanted something she couldn't have. It wasn't because the man was cruel or rejecting. It was because he possessed something that modern men have systematically trained themselves out of complete psychological independence. Let me be crystal clear about what this means, because independence has been misunderstood and misrepresented by both pickup artists and relationship experts. Independence isn't about being emotionally unavailable. It's not about playing games or being deliberately difficult. It's not about not caring about women or relationships. True independence is about having a life so rich, so purposeful, so genuinely fulfilling that a woman's presence enhances it but doesn't complete it. Marcus Aurelius understood this when he wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself in your way of thinking." The men who are irresistible to women have internalized this Stoic principle so completely that they radiate what I call psychological sovereignty. Here's what psychological sovereignty looks like in practice. You have goals and interests that exist completely independent of romantic relationships. You make decisions based on your values, not on what you think will attract or keep a woman. You have a vision for your life that's so compelling that you'd pursue it whether you were single or married. Most importantly, you don't need a woman's approval to feel good about yourself. This last point is where most men fail catastrophically. They seek validation from women about everything: their appearance, their decisions, their worth as human beings. They change their opinions to match hers. They abandon their friends and interests to spend more time with her. They make her happiness their primary source of self esteem. The psychological truth. And then they wonder why the passion dies. Here's the psychological truth that will disturb you: women lose attraction to men who need them too much. This isn't because women are cruel or selfish. It's because need based relationships trigger a woman's caretaking instincts rather than her mating instincts. When you need her, validation, her approval, her presence to feel whole, she unconsciously begins to see you as someone to be managed rather than someone to be desired. Dr. Esther Pell's research on long term relationships reveals that sexual attraction requires what she calls psychological space, the sense that your partner is a separate, autonomous being with their own inner life. When that space collapses, when two people become psychologically fused, desire disappears. But here's where this gets really interesting. The men who maintain their sovereignty in relationships don't do it to attract women. They do it because they've discovered something profound about human nature. You can't truly love someone you need, and you can't be truly loved by someone who needs you. This is conclusion. The paradox that destroys most relationships. The more you try to secure someone's love by making yourself indispensable, the more you ensure they'll eventually find you dispensable. The sovereign man loves from a place of abundance, not scarcity. He chooses to be with a woman because she adds value to his already meaningful life, not because he needs her to make his life meaningful. And women can sense this difference immediately. When a woman meets a man who clearly has his own mission, his own standards, his own source of fulfillment, something primal awakens in her psychology. She doesn't just want to be with him. She wants to earn her place in his life. This isn't about playing hard to get. This is about actually being something worth getting. The ultimate irony of attraction is this: the less you need someone's love, the more likely you are to receive it. If this video has opened your eyes to a different way of thinking about attraction and relationships, if you're ready to stop chasing and start attracting, here's what I want you to do. First, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that challenges conventional wisdom about masculinity and relationships. Second, comment below with the word sovereign. If you're committed to developing the kind of inner strength and self-respect that naturally attracts high-quality women. And third, ask yourself this question: what would I do with my life if I knew women would be attracted to me regardless? Then start doing that, because the man living his authentic purpose doesn't just attract women, he attracts the right women. And that makes all the difference.